This might be one of the nicest cups of coffee I've ever made. It's a bit full, so I'm going to try not to spill it on myself during this video. I hope you guys are settling down with a beverage, putting your feet up, kicking back after a hard day of grinding or working or playing computer games or whatever it is you nerds do. Because it's time to enjoy another episode 9 of the 25NL season of Poker Gauntlet. Editor, cue that lovely medieval intro music. So the score to beat is still episode 2, Jan's 5.65 out of 10. Quick note on how this works. If you've been watching the Olympic Games, it's probably weeks ago now when this comes out, but if you imagine like the diving contest or the gymnastics contest or something like that, obviously if you just do a forward roll at gymnastics, you don't get many points, right? So the difficulty of the hand that comes up affects how high the student can score, okay? So if there are any more comments to the effect of, perfect hand, 6 out of 10, la la la, this guy's a joke, I'm literally going to stop making the gauntlet forever. And no one else will be able to enjoy it because of you. So please understand that the complexity of the hand affects the scoring. The students don't get to pick the complexity, unfortunately. There is RNG in Poker Gauntlet. So let's get to it. If you like what you see, we have loads of videos over at carrotcorner.com that you can start enjoying for just £49.99 UK pounds per month. Check out after the video with the link in the description. Let's go with episode 9 of Poker Gauntlet. There's really nothing like it, guys. Chilling with Poker Gauntlet. Wednesday evening, you know, after work, 8 PM. Sitting on the sofa, getting the Poker Gauntlet up on the TV. Shout out to any of you who do that. Get the gauntlet up on the main television in the living room. The wife's trying to watch some show that you don't like, and you're like, Poker Gauntlet's going on. She's like, not this guy again. I'm sick of his deep voice reverberating throughout the house, shaking the floorboards. But it's too bad, wife or husband or whoever, because Poker Gauntlet is here for the next half an hour, so don't go anywhere. Queen Jack, this student's name has been exposed. Editor, please have this covered up from the beginning so that we don't see the name of anybody on the table. Just put like little rectangles over all of those screen names so that we can't see any of those. And we're going to mask the player names. The student has been outed. His actual name, by the way, is Chad. Let's see if he's going to be the Chad of Poker Gauntlet. He starts off by defending the Queen Jack in the big blind and flops 2 pair. A fine start. Billam's going to bet half pot because that's what people do, yeah? And we're going to raise. I think this is all right. I think this is one of these value hands that against a range that contains all of the combos of King 10, like all 16 combos of King 10, and also 10-8, and also some sets and stuff. This hand is never going to be like as high equity as it might look, but I think raising for now is okay. We may need to navigate with caution, but not on that turn card. Very, very happy to put more money in, and I think we should probably put more money in. I am contemplating some other lines here, like checking. What would be some merit of checking? Probably people bet King 10 here and 10-8 if you check. Maybe not always. They might 3-bet flop, but those. I think I'm favouring putting more money in the pot than this. See, this is kind of the worst of both worlds, right? Because like I either want to check raise and put a ton of money in the pot, or I want to bet bigger because like if your opponent has a straight or a jack, they are never folding. If they have a worse boat, they are never folding. If they have a flush draw, they're never folding, right? So you just need to put more money in the pot than this. You could overbet this spot. Do we care about the toolkit? Do we care about, am I playing overbets, or is my range wanting to play overbets? No, we're not, because in the 25NL Poker Gauntlet, we're trying to maximize EV with our hand against our opponent's range. And I think they're over continuing on this card after they've already called the check raise on flops. So I think we need to get greedier. Worst of both worlds because it doesn't check raise, it dissuades raise, but it also doesn't put enough money in. Okay, didn't dissuade raise this time. So villain probably has a really good hand here. Like a worse boat or straight. They may have like a draw sometimes that's raising. But honestly, I'm inclined just to put more money in again. If we call here, I don't think people are going to bluff the river very much with a busted flush draw or something like that. I'd be inclined to like click it back, make sure a villain doesn't fold the flush draw. We're going to stack the king tens and stuff anyway. If we jam here, they may fold like, I don't know, the ace-8 of diamonds or something, which is drawing dead. So I'd probably click it back again here. I think that's the right play. I think call's actually wrong here in reality. Of course, it's super tempting just to let them bluff, to keep their whole range in, to not want to fast play here because you have the board locked up. There's all of this stuff that's tempting, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it can be right to take like a passive line here that, you know, they're going to end up checking back at some point. So yeah, the worst boat, I do expect to see that a ton here. Against most of the opponent's range, which is going to be very, very strong here, it's not going to matter actually whether we fast play or slow play the turn because we're going to get it all anyway. But there are some branches where villain raised king 10 on the turn, got freaked out in the river and checked back. There's some branches where they were bluffing a flush draw on the turn and we didn't get any more money from them because they just checked back river. I'd definitely click it back again on the turn. I think it's completely risk-free. I don't think you're going to make them fold any hand really at all. I think fold equity will literally be 0, and I think that's how you should play. So overall, hand number 1 is going to have to get, let's see, I really do think we kind of butchered the turn a lot there, both in the bet and also the non-3 bet. So I'm going to have to give this hand a 3 out of 10. I really don't like the way we played it. I think we minimized our EV here, but just happened to run into a hand we were always stacking. Okay, let's move on to hand 2. Pocket walking sticks in the cutoff, and we're going to go for the open. We have this in dollar amount, which is kind of weird. Let's put this into big blinds, right, as is customary for this series. All our settings were wrong here, guys. Oh dear. 3-bet here. Very, very close spot already. You're a bit deeper. You can probably peel, maybe peeling slightly winning or close to break even. You could fold. Queen 3 deuce. I think already this hand is doing just way, way worse than you would think. 7's no club. One of your outs is going to bring a flush as well, which just means it's a bit more tainted at this slightly deeper SBR as well. I don't think folding flop is bad on single Broadway in these positions, even to third pot. I don't hate loitering around for street here. I think you could fold already. There's the walking stick of clubs, guys. Speak of the devil. So yeah, wouldn't we be so much happier if we just had the 7 of clubs in our hand and the 7 that came on the turn was always a non-club? That would be a lot better, right? I think that's the main reason why the solver prefers calling the pocket pair with the suit, is that the outs are just a lot more pure. You're also eating the outs of flush draws as well, in a sense, right? That you're making there less clubs in the deck that can come. Right, what's going on here? So we have 2 options. We can jam or we can call. If we call, 25 in L pool is going to under bluff here. So all like right away, that's kind of not so great. If we jam, are we going to freak people into folding like ace, queen, kings, aces? Not when they have a club. If they're betting this turn big, they probably have a club a lot. Do you know, guys? I think you can definitely go either way here in GTO. Like, I think it's going to call a lot here, and it's not going to play very much jam. I'm somewhat tempted to jam this spot in real life. If they have a flush, they have a flush. You're probably going to get stacked anyway. And all of their pocket pair plus club. I mean, maybe you do just call, actually. Maybe you do just call. Because if a club comes, it's like you lose anyway, right? There's no real denial here, because if they are betting with like... Okay, I guess if they have like ace king with the ace of clubs, there's some denial and they're probably going to underbluff river. Yeah, jam looks right to me here. Probably. I don't feel that strongly about it, though. I really don't mind calling this spot, and it's unclear to me, honestly, like exactly what's better. It's going to depend on the aggression of the opponent. Okay, so we're calling. We have value beater. There's not much to say about this hand. This hand, I'm just going to have to give a solid 6 out of 10, because in complexity, it's not very difficult, but we didn't really do anything wrong, but we keep the better scores for, you know, better hands. So you could say, like, that's unfair on the student. They didn't really do anything wrong here, and they only got a 6. But honestly, flop could be a fold, and in a high rake structure, like 25 and L, pre-flop could be a fold, and maybe it's slightly better. And yeah, I just don't think there's much to do here. There's not really any way to mess this up. So yeah, 6 says, that's the RNG, you know, sometimes you get an easy spot. Villain's bluff with ace king makes a lot of sense with ace of clubs. I think a very good follow through by them. Blockers to some ace queen, king queen suited, and club club. Unblockers to jacks, tens, etc. Looks like a solid river bluff. So yeah, give that hand a 6 out of 10. It's hard to get a good score on Gauntlet, guys. If you do apply to this show and that happens to you, we get a bog standard hand. Hey, at least it wasn't a 2, right? So it does even out. You can't get a bad score there. Okay, calling 8's blind versus blind against the 3-bet. King, queen, 3. Yeah, I would continue probably blind versus blind, but the 8 of spades, again, just like slightly better out quality. This is close, but I think people are range betting, and I think they're going to have, if they're 3-betting properly pre, they should have like jack 5 and stuff. You might be able to fold the flop here against this pool because they don't have enough bluffs pre-flop. So the boards that hit the linear range really, really hard like this, you're going to be doing way worse than in GTO. So I think defending flop here is easily worse than it is in game theory with this hand. Adjust my camera just down a little bit there because it's cutting off the top of my head. Okay, so I guess we are now folding. I'm going to just skip that hand. That one's not going to make it in. There's just honestly nothing to say. So we'll skip that one. King 7 deuce, third pot, call, we turn 2 pair. Okay, sizing wise here, double flush draw is always something that makes you want to go bigger because your fold equity is always going to be of more use and you're going to be able to rush money in against draws that you're just a big favorite against. It's nice that the 6 of hearts here, one of your outs, actually makes you a boat as well. It's pretty cool. I think overbet would be my sizing scheme on a 6 turn. Solver might play a little bit of B75 here, or might play a lot of B75 when villain makes a bunch of 2 pair. It tends to size down a bit. So if the turn was a queen, right, where villain doesn't make that much 2 pair because they're raising king queen a bit pre-flop or on flop, and they don't really have like queen 7 suited or queen deuce suited in these situations, but they do have like king 6, king 7, king stuff like that. If turn was a queen, you might see it use more overbet. On a 6, it might use B75 a bit more. Kind of expecting to get raised at some frequency because the villain's repping like the 2 pair that they've just hit or the set they've just hit. Notably, they don't hit a set on a queen turn. So the difference between the queen turn and the 6 turn is that the queen turn probably has more overbet in GTO. I'm kind of rambling here, but the point is I would not care about that in reality. I would not expect people to raise my B75 all that much unless they're just very aggro, in which case I don't mind using B75. But against like a passive 25 and L opponent, I'd rather just overbet the turn. I like it. Villain calls, we get a 10 river. A9 is not in range here. King 10 is in range. Pocket 10s could be in range, but it's not super likely to call pre and call overbet. There's a few ways that can leave the range. 10-7, 10-6 look like turn folds here. So this is a very clean river in terms of like overbetting again. I think you can for sure overbet again on this card. You could probably jam in GTO here. I don't know that I want to jam because I think they might freak out a bit. Depends on who my opponent is. Do we have a HUD line here? Villain is 0-0 over the limited sample we have, so no dice there. Yeah, I think you can go for another really big sizing here. Whether I want to go like 40 something or whether I want to go all in, I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't go all in. I think by the time you start doing that against this pool against regs, you're not doing amazingly when called here. You're doing okay, but you are losing to king 10, king 7, so probably all in isn't the highest EV play here. Probably it's just like, yeah, 42, something like that. Seems really good. It's a really good hand. Wow, villain just doesn't believe. And that's the thing. All they need to do to call you down is not believe you, right? People are like, what's going to call if I overbet? That's how they act. That's how you guys sound. Shame on you. Imagine sounding like that. But yeah, like, all they have to do is not believe you. And they can call you. And when you overbet, you're polarized and you have bluffs, etc. 9-7, probably a turn fold. The 9 is very bad redraw card. It's also like when they hit a 9 on the river, you're hitting 10-8. And 8-5, and also when, okay, you don't have 8-5 here, but you have 10-8. And when they have the 9, they're blocking a bunch of your turn bluffs. They have no blocker to any like draw that can get there or anything. Like really kind of losing turn call, I think, against this pool especially, and then really bad river call against this pool especially. When people follow through after they overbet turn, you know, sometimes that gets quite underbluffed at these stakes. So I think villain's play here is really losing, but really, really well played by Hero. Great sizing both times. Love it. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's not the most difficult spot, but sizing is so important to win rate. Like, I'm going to give this an 8. I think it deserves it. There's so many ways you could have, like, cost yourself EV here by sizing definitely against pool, and you didn't. So, yeah, really good stuff, Chad. played that hand like a Chad. I believe that's an expression the kids say these days. I think it means you played it like a boss or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, boomer here, trying to keep in touch with the lingo. 1.44 BBs. This is a old called spot. I don't mind starting with a check gear. I'd probably raise against pool globally if I started with a check gear. Most people are terrified to. I think they're just bet size equals hand strength. They're betting 10s, they're betting draws, they're betting gutters, they're betting a 9. Yeah, I think raising makes a lot of sense here. Call's not like horrible or anything. That's a really annoying turn card. We have a straight flush draw now, but yeah, this is just really, really strong. Overbet on this turn from a cold caller is kind of death, honestly. I would treat our hand like it's just a draw at this stage. I mean, okay, you could have like ace jack off with ace of spades. Like, I don't know, the bluffs here seem few and far between, like basically none. Hyper underbluff spot. Our equity is reasonable against some of villain's range. If villain has the nut flush, we're drawing to just the 10 of spades, which is 1 out if I'm counting correctly, which is not very good. If villain has a set or a straight, which is a bit more likely for value here, then we still don't really have the odds to call. The 10 of spades is just like a normal out against those hands. Like, we're not going to have good implied odds. I think this is a fold. I just fold my hand. Does that sound crazy? We have a straight flush draw. We have everything. We have all this redraw. Yeah, but most of your outs are not very good because villain has nut flush in range here for overbetting a fair amount of the time, like ace 10, ace 5, ace 4, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8 of spades. Just a lot of range here, I think. Yeah, I think I get super nitty against this and just say good luck to you if you're bluffing enough here. Obviously in GTO this is a clear call, but I think an exploit fold could easily be in order here. I think it's hard to find that, but I do think we get back less than the 36% of the pot we need when we call here. I really do think we get back less than that. Villain did find a bluff with 7s. It's a really nice turn play by villain. I mean, this is a... I mean, I don't know, he could probably size smaller and it would still be good, but this turn play is kind of really macho play. Like, it's like really fucking absolute alpha reg stuff, because this spot is so underbluffed that if you do find a bluff here against a good opponent who is playing against pool, you can get them to fold so much of their range. Like, we're probably folding all of our king X with no spade on turn there to that line, right? We're probably folding a ton of stuff. Queen jack, queen 10s, pocket jacks, pocket 10s, pocket aces. If I played it that way on flop, I would fold, you know, without the spade. I'm honestly kind of shocked to see this, and this villain is either a maniac or just like probably a good reg. I'd think a good reg. And yeah, I think this call does very badly generally. We may have had a read here though, so I don't want to mark it down too much. But yeah, I'm going to give this hand a 6. I think you can fold a turn here and be the hero. The fold of the lion here is really what we're looking for. The fold of the lion is a great thing to aim for in this spot. Jack 10. All right, hand number 5. We go for the 3-bet. Queen, king, 7. Go for the small bet. Villain calls. King of diamonds on the turn. So, are there any clues this is a recreational? No, it looks to be a reg by the 2.2, although we can't say for sure, of course, it could be recreational. Recreationals will defend this flop like way too wide, and they're going to have too many pocket pair. Pocket pair should really fold this flop. This is an underfolded turn node against the reg and an overfolded turn node against the recreational, I think. So I think against the fish, like, you can bet this turn because they're just going to get freaked out here. They're going to have a lot of pocket pair. They have ace jack, ace 10. You get them to fold all this stuff. I think it's a fine turn bet. Against the reg, I'd maybe worry it's a bit underfolded, but I think it's fine. One thing you might be able to do here is bet small enough on turn and sort of herd them like the sheepdog into a pen where they've capped their range. Because if you go like 8 on turn here, which is probably an okay sizing on this card, honestly, you're going to be able to cause them to just start uncapping themselves, start like shedding their really good stuff when they don't raise you. So if you do go 8 on the turn here, little exploit line, you've probably got a really nice river bluff that you've set up for yourself, so that's a nice idea. Villain at this point probably has mostly 9s, 8s, 10s, jacks, some slow play, maybe a flush that's completely negated now, something like that. Maybe they just have air and they don't fancy bluffing. I think I'm inclined to just go for a really big bluff here. Like, they're going to fold a flush a lot. They're going to fold any under pair, I think, that they got sticky with on flop. They might fold jacks or 10s. It depends on the player. If it's a fish, you probably don't want to bluff this spot because they're not going to fold bolts, and they might even call you with a flush out of stubbornness. Your hand looks like a mandatory bluff in theory because when you don't bet the turn here, you just have a big monopoly on like your turn check back. You have a lot of queen X and you have a lot of like aces as well that your opponent doesn't have, and you have some trip kings. I think your range is doing well enough that you want to bluff this hand in GTO on the river. The question is, like, would you rather have like ace something? Probably, because you block ace queen and unblock jacks and tens, like in theory. In real life, what's the real fold equity like here? If you go for like 35, where you probably make them fold some ace-x of diamonds, you'll make them fold some pocket pair. But yeah, like if I thought this could be a recreational, I probably wouldn't bother with it. I don't think it's a great spot. Against a reg, it's a better spot. But I totally get the give up here, because if this is a recreational player or could be recreational player, the relative hand strength that's going on here, like they're just likely to have too much queen X that didn't value bet river, and fish are just likely to call bolts in the river because they're bolts, right? It's like an absolute hand strength thing. So I think you played this hand pretty well, actually. I want to give this a pretty good score, in fact. I'm going to give this hand... Could have bet turn, but I don't think it's that essential. Yeah, I'm going to give this hand a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's a solid hand. 6.5, actually. Let's give it 6.5. So this is a pretty decent start. We've got 3, 6, 8, 6, 6.5. This is shaping up quite nicely for Chad. Call out of the big blind. 3, 4 of spades. Definitely check raise the spot. When they half pot here, they're going to, on average, be betting too mergy, too much top pair, too many continues, too many flush draws. You just want to go nuts here. This isn't the kind of board I think they go mental and apply tons of pressure if you slow play. Definitely want to raise here. You could raise bigger because in elasticity terms it's not going to matter. You just want more money in the middle here. No one's folding an ace to 11, so you probably just want to go a bit bigger. But I'm not going to fault it too much. I would definitely just go small on the turn. This neutralizes nut advantage. It means you no longer have the nut monopoly, but more importantly, your hand is just seriously degraded now. Love it. Really, really well played hand for a 25 NL player. River, block tiny, block small. Or maybe you can go a bit bigger here. Let's actually analyze your equity. They don't really have king 10. They have some two pair like ace jack, ace queen. They have ace king still, ace 5, a set of queens. Yeah, you can probably still go big here. They didn't raise you on the turn. You go like b75 here, actually. You go up to b75. Absolutely love this hand. This hand is perfect every step of the way, apart from the flop size. I'm going to give this hand a 9 out of 10. I really, really like this hand. Like, there's so many ways you could have gone wrong here. And you just picked the best line on every single street. This could be the winner, guys. This could actually be the winner. There's only one episode to go after this. 3, 6, 8, 6, 6.5, 9. That's really good. I don't know what the average of that is, but it looks really, really good. 3 plus 6 is 9, 8, 17, 23, 29 and a half. Plus 9 is 38 and a half. I mean, that's solid so far. 4 hands left. They scored like another 20 points or so. And it's looking good. Average about 6, 5 or 6 for the last few hands when the gauntlet. You know, it's sounding good. There's going to be prizes for this, by the way. Villain folded, but yeah, I think you played that really well. I think your hand is actually worth quite a bit there. You could maybe go a bit smaller on river, but no, I think like the understanding that Chad has of that spot is just really impressive. Like, understands what's going on turn. For the 25 NL season, you know, this is impressive stuff. Okay, checking to people when they cold call you. I mean, it's fine. Going for check raise here. Going for big bet on turn here. I don't mind it. Yeah. You could also go for check raise, but that probably sucks because there aren't that many bet calls. Now, check raise as a bluff is a really nice line on turn, actually. Because they're just going to be like reopening a bit too merged and then probably folding way too often there. But yeah, going for this for value makes a lot of sense. Just value bet the river. Don't let them check back. They're super condensed. You can go for overbet. Yeah, okay, so what improves? King 9, probably not there. 7, 8, probably not there very often. This is good. Yeah, your hand is very strong here. I think you can overbet. I love this. This is another really good hand. Get called by 8s. Like, Chad is very aggressive for value, and that is a trait that will propel him out of 25 NL. I'm actually really surprised this player is playing 25 NL. I wonder if this is like a... I actually think I coached this player like way back in the day, like a couple of years ago or something. Like briefly, we did a couple of sessions, if I'm not mistaken, which is obviously why he's playing so well. But no, like, on a serious note, I think Chad could play higher, right? This side is also really, really good. I have to give it an 8. I mean, it's just really good to overbet the river here. It's not that difficult, but like a lot of people wouldn't. Am I being too generous these days, guys, on Gauntlet? Am I giving away 8s too easily? Fine, 7.5 then. I'm getting criticized for being too generous with the scores. About time someone beat that 5.65 score, though. That shouldn't be the winning score of the season, you know? Alright, hand number 8, Pocket Kings. 4-bet. Is this one going to make it in there? No. This hand is not making it in there. King Jack then. Queen 4 deuce. Small c-bet. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind what you do in turn here. I think it's close between betting and checking. Now you have probably just a call. I mean, this hand is super bog standard. It's really hard to mess that one up, actually. Let's not use that one either, because it's just too difficult to mess that up, I think. Pocket jacks then. Trying to be fair here, like, if I just let that hand slide through, it's going to get 6 or something, get 5.5, and then Chad's almost home. We're going to give him a chance to mess this up, right? 3-bet, call, 955, B60. Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, really good theoretical stuff. Love the sizing here with specifically jacks against this pool and this texture, just rushing money in. We get raised. I mean, ace 5 and 9s is all we lose to. 2 combos plus 3 is 5. Villain could have 10s here. They could also have queens here, which is a bit annoying. This isn't the best spot in the world for jacks. But I think jam is okay. Like, I think you're in a good enough shape here. I probably wouldn't slow play here. Yeah, I like it. Played it well. Not much else we can do here. We do run into 6-5, but I think jam is just great for denying equity. We have the most vulnerable value hand we can have. We're not losing to that much stuff, and we're value beating 10s. And just doing well against draws and denying useful equity to bluffs like king queen. So jam looks great at that SPR. You don't want to worry about getting stacked there. You just want to maximize against the rest of the range. So yeah, I'm going to give that 7. I mean, it's a really solid hand. It's not that difficult, but you could have gone wrong with the sizing, and you could have gone wrong there as well. 3, 6, 8, 6, 6.59, 7.57. This is amazing. There's 2 hands to go. 2 hands to go, and Chad's kind of dominating. He's in pole position here. He really has to mess this up in order to not win Gauntlet. This is the new champion, right? There's 1 episode to go. I think we're looking at the Season 1 Poker Gauntlet champion. I think we're looking at the Chad of Poker Gauntlet. Not gonna lie, guys. 6-5. Definitely call. Lovely. I think just call. Okay. The problem is that you're reopening here against a non-full stack, I want to say at the start. Oh no, it was a full stack. Okay. But still, like, you're reopening a hand that really hates to be denied equity. Like, you have too much going on with this hand. I think reopening with this hand is a mistake, because when they jam their overpair and you fold, because you're going to have to fold here, I think you're just squandering a bit too much EV. I get what you're doing, but I think this is a bit of a mistake in position with a hand that just turns too well to want to put itself in a situation where it doesn't realize equity sometimes. So I think this is a mistake. Definitely check now. Yep. Redeemed, and definitely an easy check on river. Yeah, I mean, not a bad hand. I'm going to give it a 5. Like, I kind of see what we're doing, but I don't really like it. I think it's a bit of a mistake on flop, but we didn't spew after that. We played well pre. In fact, 4.5. I don't like the flop raise. I'm going to mark it down a little bit more. Wow, we win against ace deuce. I mean, that hand should just be bluffing river, right? I think on this node. Maybe it thinks it's still got showdown value to some extent, but it might be losing to some of your bluffing range here. This is pretty bad by villain, I think. Like, all in all, like, the 3-bet's bad. Okay, he had a gutter, but still, like, I think you need to bluff river, probably. Do you? Maybe you don't. I think you need to bluff river. I think you're just too far down your range here. And we're raising like ace queen, ace 10 and stuff. Yeah, I think you've definitely got to bluff river here. Okay, hand number 10. Can Chad close this off with a bang? I think he's got it. I think it's in the bag, but let's just see. Calls. Gonna go 3-way to the flop. Queen, queen, 6. Gonna check the flop. Okay. Checks through. I would lead. I would not rely on people to reopen enough here, although there are 2 of them still to act. Maybe check raise is reasonable. I think they'll freak them out a lot, though. I think I just go lead here. Just keep it simple. Lead big. Okay, we do go for the second check. Villain pots. I think villain now may just be lulled into a false sense of security and think that, like, kings or aces is good here. They've checked back flop and potted turn. There is, like, the line where they were just slow playing flop, or they just have, like, 4s full or something now, though. I think I'd probably just call. I think it's a bit thin to raise here. Like, the pot sizing, I think, is just going to veer them away from non-queen X a bit too much here. I think you're running into, like, the monster a bit too often for me to like this with the 10 kicker. I get it, like, they would have bet the flop with a lot of their queen X, but not always. Pot on turn is just a bit scary. It could easily be aces or kings. I just don't know that they're going to pay off a raise and then a jam here. Very scary spot to face this aggression. I think this is 210. I think you just want to call. I don't think they're going to have a lot of high equity draws either. Like, they're going to bet flop a lot with flush draw here. I don't know. I think you just want to call, but I don't, like, hate it. Yeah, I really don't hate it. I just think against pot, it's just a bit too polarized. I'm going to give this hand a 4. I don't think it's, like, a terrible or anything. Okay, let's add this up. So we have the score of 3, plus 6 is 9, plus 8 is 17, plus 6 is 23, plus 6.5 is 29.5, plus 9 is 38.5, plus 7.5 is 46, plus 7 is 53, plus 8.5 is 61.5. I believe that's 61.5. I'm going to go to my editor now, or I'm going to go to my boss, Carrot Corner boss lady, and verify that. Just dialing right now. Hi, yeah, it's Pete. Can you just verify these scores add up to 61.5 for me? I think they do. They do? Okay, great. What do you mean I should be able to just know that myself? Like, I'm just making... I was pretty confident. I was just making sure. What do you mean I should be good at math because I'm good at poker? It's not... No, poker's more about logic than math. Anyway, right, I'll talk to you later, okay? Right, okay. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Chad has taken the lead in a commanding way. A score of 6.15. That is the best score by quite some distance. Chad is in pole position with episode 9 down. I believe there is only one episode of Poker Gauntlet to go of this season, and only one player therefore will have the chance to knock Chad off of this perch. Otherwise, he's going to win the season. If you've enjoyed this and you've not seen the first 8 episodes, definitely go back and watch them. But also, for, 60, 70, 80, whatever it is by now, more poker educational videos, do subscribe to Carrot Corner. It's only $49.99 a month, You get access to a budding library full of videos from pros, cash game specialists, more added each week, 3 more to be precise. And if you're ready to embark on your formal poker education, the holy grail of poker education, in my opinion, the castle up there, the library of the castle up there, then it's the Carrot Poker School. Top link in the description. Let me know what you think about Poker Gauntlet. If you want to be on Season 2, 50NL, if you're a 50NL player and you're part of our Discord, to join, you have to be a Carrot Corner subscriber or Carrot Poker School student or private one-to-one student of mine. Then do shoot me a message on Discord or say hello there. I'll have a thread for it. And sign up to the 50NL season of Poker Gauntlet. See you guys later. Much love. And remember, be a poker Chad. Play like Chad. Don't play like all the other guys that came before. All right. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.